two, one, go. Hello, and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible and all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young, and I'm one of your blood-curdling, spine-chilling hosts. Joining me, as always, is our other blood-curdling and spine-chilling host, Beth Martin. Beth, the pleasure as always. What's the crack?
I wish we thought ahead and paid the dollar for scary sound effects of screaming,
I,
chains,
I,
Ghostbusters song.
I'm now wondering whether I should take it again and do a blood curdling and spine chilling. Sorry, this way
Don't
you get
ever, don't ever do that again.
this way you get both folks at home, right? You get to enjoy all of the options. Yeah. So, what is the crack with you?
So I booked my trip to New York.
Mm,
So I'm going to see Oh Mary on November 18th,
hell
everyone.
yeah.
I am so excited. I rewatched the Seth Meyers interview. I'm following Cola Scola on all the things. And yeah, I get to be in New York for 5 days,
Hell yeah.
which I'm excited about. So I haven't been, it's probably been a decade.
Wow.
Yeah, since I've been.
You must go to
So,
Times Square.
oh, should
I'm joking.
I?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you heard of this place? It's incredible.
No,
I'm
no.
joking.
There's actually, at some point we need to go
Uh-huh.
because there's this, I think it's called the Stardust Diner. And it's I know you love a good diner and diner
Yeah.
food, especially before a hike. Um,
Yeah.
so so but it's a diner that actually is operated by people that are trying to be on Broadway.
Ooh.
So they break into song and dance randomly,
Oh.
and it's but it's not cheesy at all.
Because they got
That
skills.
it's so fucking good and
Yeah.
fun. And I remember going there, I was super hungover. We were all crabby. And it was just I was like, oh God, they're singing. But by the end of it, we're all up and dancing and clapping our hands and
Oh.
singing along. And it was so fun. So I think I'm gonna try and go to that.
That
I'm
sounds
going
great.
up to the Coswalds. I might try and reach out to an old friend and maybe get a job in the film industry. I don't
Hell
know. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm just making big dreams happen because it's New York, right? So I'm excited about that.
What's
That's
the thing
happening.
that I
Hmm.
always reject conceptually where you write something down? Manifestation, not manifestation. That's not right. Is
Yeah.
that right? Where you kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
you write stuff down and then you manifest it? Yeah. So this is what you're doing with that.
Yeah. Except for I'm actually doing it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, hey,
Being,
manifestation sometimes happen too, okay? And this is just one of these cases where it's definitely going to happen. So
I
yeah,
think so. I think so. It would
uh,
be nice.
I just ask that you don't forget about me whenever
Oh
you're.
no, no, no. No, no. This is this could if I got that, this
I'm.
could become
Let me tell you, I'm going to be riding Beth's coattails right to the top.
that's right. Like Haley's
Oh
Comet, buddy.
yeah, hell yeah, I love it.
Um, so yeah, I was thinking about it and I was telling Andy we're pre-pod, we're cash poor right now. And it's it's just I'm I'm feeling better. And what if I could try a a part-time job and then well, what
Hmm.
do I if I'm gonna do that and spend the effort and the time and not waste my energy, but tap into my non-existent energy source. What would I want to do? What is the thing that I would really like? Okay, what's your dream? And I really want to work in the movies.
I love it.
I do. I love them. I love movies. I love film,
Hmm.
except for Wolves.
What?
Um,
That's not what I've heard.
yeah, no, I hate it. Thanks for the birthday present again, by the way. But if I could do anything, it would be something related to the film industry.
Yeah,
And so I have a friend who I worked with decades ago, and I think he lives in New York, so I'm gonna reach out and I'm gonna put myself out there and just try and meet for coffee and be
that's a
like,
lovely idea.
yeah,
Yeah,
what can I
I
do?
I
How do
believe
I
in you.
what can and I kind of just want to work with him generally too because he's just we worked well together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and
So
that's a good like foundation to kind of build from. Yeah, I
yes.
love it. Just to, and
What's
like, sorry,
yeah.
go on.
No, that was it.
Just to
I'm like
quickly,
nervous.
yes, but I think I love it for you, and I think yeah, it's gonna happen. I believe it.
Okay.
That's what I'm manifesting. I'm good at manifesting for other people, but not for myself necessarily.
Thanks, Andy. I
Just
need it all.
I know, I got you. But just to circle back to one thing quickly, have you considered that it's actually really clever that they spell it WLFS? So like wolves instead of wolf. Because like they're individuals, right? That's actually really
Not
smart.
wolves,
And not
right?
wolves. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's wolves.
Now I'm even more irritated because it's now I know it's grammatically incorrect, like Carl's
But
Jr.
it's just an intelligent choice. It's just because it's like it informs their character of what like badass loners they are,
I'm
right?
ready to cry. I'm looking
Please
at it
don't.
again. Here it is. I'm holding it up and
Yeah,
showing Andy.
that
It's
wolf's poster.
this it's like it's a 4 by 6 poster.
I really here's my thinking when I was going to buy this for you. I was like, I don't want to waste a lot of money on a wolf's poster.
No,
So like, what's the smallest
that
size
makes
they've
me feel
got? It's
better.
perfect. But yeah, I'm really delighted that I've managed to weave that movie into the podcast lore.
It's totally part of the lexicon now.
Made me
I
really
didn't
happy.
think about the spelling, and now I'm really, it is. It's like I can't actually, do you guys have Carl's Jr., the
I'm
hamburger
aware
chain?
of them. We don't have them over here. I
Okay,
don't
I
think.
can't eat there because the apostrophe is in the wrong
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
I
I've heard
can't.
people talk about that before.
I
Yeah.
can't. And I don't know why, and I will not research it. No one tell me why, because I am just gonna continue to be angry about it.
Well, actually,
Anyways,
Beth, there's actually a really good
shh,
reason why
shh,
cars
shh.
killers.
I'm
Sorry.
not listening. I
But
hear
yeah.
nothing. What's the crack with you?
So and on theme of a couple of episodes that we did ago, I went to see Joker 2.
You did
I
not.
did too.
You
Get
did not. You
No,
paid
okay.
money.
No, I did not pay money. I because I have a cinema pass. That's the
Oh,
only
that's
reason
right.
I went.
I'm so
Like
jealous.
otherwise, I would not pay money for that goddamn film. But like I had heard from enough people that it's like it's such an antithesis to the first film, which I wasn't crazy about, and I
Neither
was
was
like,
I. I
and I
don't
was
think I
like,
finished it.
it's not. Don't worry about it. It's yeah, it's not.
It
It's
was just
like
sad.
it's just got a lot. It's one of these things that seems like it's cosplaying as a like really well-made, intelligent film, and it just doesn't. It doesn't. It never kind of quite gets there. But I was, people were like, yeah, it kind of rocks the second one because it's like, a few people were anyway, and it's got the musical numbers are great. I'm like, okay, but I just find it really boring and kind of a waste of time. I just think it's pointless, honestly. Like Lady Gaga's great in it, but like beyond that, it's just a kind of complete waste of time, honestly. So yeah. So
So
yeah,
it's
Joker 2.
basically like watching Wolves, but with Lady Gaga.
Yeah, but like,
Huh.
whereas one of those examples is a modern cinema classic, and one of them's a bad film with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga.
I've watched some of their like press interviews.
Uh-huh.
It's just, even those are hard to watch.
For
I think they,
Joker?
yeah, for
Yeah.
Joker too, because I don't want to pronounce it wrong. But it's like, it's almost like you can tell that they think it's also not a good film.
Like I kind of
But Lady
respect
Gaga like put her, I'm sure she put her like heart and soul into
she
it,
was
as she
apparently
does
pretty
all the things.
devastated in terms of what the critical reaction was, and I can kind of see that because she really did. She's the one who's most fucked over by it, but at the same time, like Joaquin Phoenix got like $20 million for it. She got $12 million for it. I'm like,
It's a
fucking
$200 million film.
yeah. I'm like, you guys got paid. I'm happy for you that you got paid and whatever. But like,
Insurance will pay the rest.
yes, exactly. So like, there are no losers here. But it is kind of a fascinating kind of waste of time. But yeah. So, but having
Is
said
there
that,
singing?
yes, a lot.
Uh,
But like again, Lady Gaga singing, okay. Joaquin Phoenix singing, well, yeah, okay. He's not bad, but like it's there's a bit too much of it, and it doesn't like it just happens randomly. There's not like a clear device. that leads into the songs. The songs just kind of happen every now and again, and the whole thing feels really shoddily put together.
Who directed it? Do you
Todd
know?
Phillips, so the guy who made the
Uh,
Hangover movies, and
oh,
yes, so
well,
like
that's a different direction.
the story. You see, this was the thing with the first film because it was like him doing this. I'm going into a serious direction, and a lot of people were like, "Well, you maybe should have stuck with the comedy movies, sort of thing," you know. So like that was the story for this for the first one in a big way. Was it was like this comedy director's pivot into like a prestige movie, and instead of maybe doing something unique, it was kind of aping like Scorsese movies. It was aping, other, cribbing a lot from kind of better made, more successful films.
You know what they need?
Or not more successful.
Mm.
They put a smile on their face.
They need me
Yeah, they do.
to be working
Very much
in the
so.
film industry because
This
I
is
know everything.
this is why we're manifesting this. This is going to happen, Beth, and
That's right.
then Joker 3 is going to come out in a few years, and you're going to be working on
I'll be like,
it.
Andy, we need to go back to the
You're
podcast.
like, Jesus, what's happening? How did I get involved in this?
Right, right.
So the other thing
Huh. I'm
is that
impressed that you actually like did that and
don't be impressed by that. Thank you,
put
but
the
like, no,
time into
it's
that.
not. It's not like it is. It was purely because I was like, I need to leave the house, or I'm gonna go insane. This is the only thing that's on that is of interest to me. So, I don't regret it, but also don't go and see it, everybody. Um, so the other thing that I have done, and this is going to be controversial, I think, because, obviously this is a betrayal to a lot of my friends, but I've started my Pilates training. Dun, dun,
You
dun.
did. Good
I
for
did.
Why is
Yep.
it controversial?
Because, it's so basically the way I'm looking at it is the yoga community are the sharks and the Pilates community are like the jets. So we're always like feuding and like
Right.
beefing, like singing
Yes.
songs at each other and stuff.
And having dance offs.
You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And I don't,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like Maria caught in the middle, a toe on both sides.
Is it the original or
Oof.
the Scorsese
No, the
version?
Spielberg one, which are they're
Spielberg.
both great. I don't know. I love them both.
No, it's the
Tough to say.
original. Ugh.
I don't know who directed it. Have you seen the Spielberg one?
I tried watching it and I'm so like original Natalie Wood,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I totally know what you're saying, and like I really was.
Even
I
though
went.
she's not Puerto Rican at all.
Yeah, yeah. I I went in skeptically to the Spielberg one, but I ended up really enjoying it in the end, I must say.
I mean, I just love a good musical,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Maybe give it another try. Maybe, maybe. Mm.
Mm. If
Um,
you watch The Greatest Showman, then I will watch
okay, okay,
Spielberg's
all
version.
right. It's a
Yeah.
deal. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a deal.
It's a deal. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, so that's it. So I just started like I mean I literally have just done the very kind of beginning aspects of it. A lot of the early sort of stuff is, a lot of the sort of stuff that we covered as yoga teachers as well, So but
Is there much difference?
I am too early on to really say for sure, but I think they work with more defined sequences, I guess, than yoga seems like the yoga that I've experienced tends to be
Go with what you feel.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also there tends to be a lot like um classes on how people build them tends to be more of a personal expression in my experience. But what I'm getting from Pilates is that it's much more there are pre-built sequences, but I could be wrong about this. I'm only in early days of figuring it out.
I'm excited to hear the
Yeah.
difference. And I've done like the Pilates machine,
Yes. So
which is a whole other thing.
there's
Just
this
really hard.
there's distinct training for the Pilates. I can't remember, it's called like a reformer machine or something like that.
Yeah.
And the mat-based Pilates, which is what I'm doing, which again is very kind of connected to yoga, I think, in a lot of ways. So yeah,
Hmm.
interested to see where
Good.
this takes me. So yeah, so that's been
Me
great.
too.
But yeah, that's the crack with me this past week. Do you have any what's occurring for us?
Um, I just I would just like to ask people to share the show if you like it.
Yeah.
Um, it helps us get the word out. And if you want to give us a nice rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that would also be helpful. They do these things where they give you awards at the end of the year for like, la la la, you got these many, this much feedback and
Yeah.
these many listeners, and they're promoting it. And so I always want to do better than we did last year.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to help out in that regard. And then yeah, I do have an occurring, someone was like, Ireland has gold, Andy.
Yeah, like I'm sure, but like I don't freaking know. Like, but yeah,
So now
that's
I'm like, what are you doing with your spare time? Why aren't you gold panning and
right.
like
So I just
crawling
get
through
it.
caves
That's an
trying to
excellent
find
question.
gold?
And I did have a conversation with a friend of mine who's like, I actually have gold pants, but we just haven't, been to anywhere that we can do it. It's like, well, maybe it's
You-
time to start.
Well, you know the technique.
I do know the technique. That's true. It's true.
So
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll get to it. Like, I mean, I'm not surprised that we have gold, but like, I don't know. I don't know everything that happens in this country.
well, and it's like I was reading something about the royal family and like they make all of their like royal like rings and wedding rings out of this big chunk of Welsh gold.
Oh,
And I just
interesting.
like I never put those things together. Like, oh, Wales is right there too.
Yeah.
And like a huge chunk of Welsh gold for like the royal family. I can't even imagine how big that must be.
I'm
Um,
I'm sure that was acquired in a very cool and, a fair
yeah,
fair way for the
absolutely.
Welsh people.
Someone
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, I found this in the yard. Here you go."
Oh, you found it for the king, you mean? Oh, yeah, I guess. Um, yeah, classic England.
Yeah. And then
But
someone else is you know who you are,
uh
uh giving me gentle harassment about petting stingrays and how my friend Glimmer, the
hmm
stingray, uh in Maria is still at fault for somehow for the death of Steve Irwin.
Oh,
So
right, okay, fair enough. That ongoing feud between Stingrays and Steve Irwin's family, yeah.
right.
I
Now
understand.
now he's dropping like sweet pictures of Steve Irwin. I'm
Oh,
just
really?
like,
Wow. Okay, I love it.
oh friend.
Amazing. Amazing.
I love me some Glimmer. And
Yeah,
I
I know
love
you
me some
do.
Steve Irwin. I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
It's hard.
you
It's hard
can
to accept.
you can mesh those two conflicting things, I think. There's
I don't know. We'll
I
see.
I don't think Steve Irwin would want there to be a vendetta against stingrays for this. Do you know what I mean? He
I
loves
would agree
all
with that. Oh,
animals.
yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah. But yeah. Can I, as my what's occurring, can I share with you one of the most inspirational messages that I have come across in a while? Okay.
Yeah? No, I don't
So,
want to hear it.
okay, fine. I'll just stop. We'll just cut that off then.
Let's talk
Uh,
about wolves some
yeah,
more.
Second was a Wolves, perfect. Yeah, that's what it was about, actually. No. So there was a thread online, and it was talking about movies that you love that you couldn't recommend to anybody else, for a variety of reasons. I have many movies like that in my life, but because they're maybe like of the celebrities that were in them, or because of the topic or the kind of nature of the film, you know,
Mhm.
and within the body of this,
Like,
so like
because they've been canceled?
no, that's a good reason, but also because like they're kind of fucked up. So for example, in the past
Mhm.
few years, I've seen
Like
Bo
Requiem for a Dream.
Wrecking for a Dream is a great example of it. Or
Yeah.
Beau is Afraid is one that I think is
Mm.
a film that really, the more I think about it, the more time I spend thinking about that film, the more I liked it. But it is like one of the most compelling examinations of like mental collapse I've ever seen on film. But I don't know that everybody needs to see that, or I can recommend it necessarily.
Mhm. Like
Um,
falling down.
yeah. Like, but Beau is Afraid is like it's like you're going insane. So I don't know that
Mm.
but again, very interesting film, and I think it's very fascinating in a lot of ways. Um, Anyway, within the body of this message, there was one of the people was like, "Oh, the movie for me is Titane," and Titane is not a movie I've seen. It is a psychological body horror film that is supposed to be. pretty messed up in a lot of ways. And he was writing about it, and he's like, I love that movie. I love the teen, but I don't want to recommend it to people because they might think I'm a sicko. And there was a reply to it, and the reply said, I recommended Titane to my dentist, and then it said, be the rad sicko you want to see in the world. And never has a sentence resonated more with me. Just I love that. Just being like, yeah, I've seen this fucked up psychological body horror. You're getting some dental work done. You're like, what you should see? Titane. Um, but yeah, so I
Is it
think
about is it about teeth?
no, it's
Okay, good.
kind of about
That's like my horror.
it's like body modification stuff. It's basically a woman. I have yet to see it, but like I know it has a reputation, and I kind of want to see it now. But like it's about this woman who gets like a metal plate put in her head, and it affects her. And I think it's all about body modification. And I don't fully know what it's about, but I know that it has quite a disturbing reputation. But yeah, it's definitely one that I am interested in. But I think I really want to steal this for a t-shirt and just send that message out to all the kind of bandy listeners that, be the rad sicko that you want to see in the world because it's a good message.
I gotta write it down.
Do you read it down? So, and I think I already do know some rad sickos out there and, shine on you crazy diamonds. I love you for it.
Right. Thank you for the Pink Floyd reference. Be the rad sicko that you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is some rad sicko merch out there. But as I say, it still resonated with me.
That's
So
so good.
that's the inspirational quote that really kind of was working for me over the past week. Thought you'd enjoy that.
That's an interesting that's an interesting topic though, like
Hmm.
movies that you can't recommend but you love or like or saw and like affected you because I like they're all running through my head right now.
Yeah, and like I love a movie where the filmmaker is essentially just giving the fingers, double fingers to the audience and going "fuck you guys." I really love moments like that in films, and like I think a lot. I went to see that Yorgos Lanthimos movie, Kinds of Kindness, earlier on this year, and
Hmm.
like again, it's another one that I keep coming back to, and like people didn't respond really well to it, but I
Mm-mm.
really quite enjoy that movie, and the more I think about it, the more I think it was like genuinely funny in places. I think because it's like multiple different stories, and like the through line that connects them so dumb and superfluous. I kind of love that that was a choice that he made. Um, but yeah, and I have so many movies like that, but I just love that sort of, and I think I've said this before, that kind of really honest expression of a filmmaker onto the screen. It's like, here is me, completely all the fucking weird bits, I like that a
Hmm.
lot.
Hmm. Yeah, I just love movies. You know this.
They're the best.
They are the best. Um,
So we got on to our topic, or
I'm just still stuck on the fact that there's gold in Ireland. I'm sorry.
okay.
And it
Uh
rains, so it's like I'm gonna do some research and find out like where I'm gonna send you and be
I
like,
would I would
go when you're out on your dog walks, like just bring
like
your
I
gold
will.
pan.
Yeah, I will. I will. Recreational gold panning is permitted. Okay, there we go.
Okay, I was like, I didn't even think about that, if it's legal or not. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know about mineral rights in Ireland, but
Yeah, it's not something I
whatever.
thought about a lot. So, but yeah, apparently there's a pretty big, a pretty big, wow, a pretty big find in Ireland, a new sort of mine that was set up in 2008, where 16,000 kilograms of gold, and another place. Oh, they think that there could be as much as Jesus. 620 620 tons of gold in this mine. Holy crap.
Whoa.
Okay. So there you go.
All right.
So there is gold in Ireland, yeah. So like, yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
I
Hey,
mean, it makes sense. You've
it
got
does. I
leprechauns
mean,
and
like,
pots of
and
gold and all
exactly,
that. I
exactly.
I don't know why I was so like shocked and surprised to see that comment.
And It's just a reminder once again that, my proviso over everything that I say is that I'm a dumb guy who doesn't know anything. So,
Yeah,
like,
right. Same. Same
uh,
here. We
everything I
know
say is
nothing.
covered by that disclaimer. But
We
yeah,
know nothing. Okay.
so
So yes,
let's get on to our topic.
so it's time to change our topic to
Woo!
let's talk about All Hallows Eve,
Indeed.
bro.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. I'm, I,
So, or AKA Halloween.
you know, I'm absolutely gutted I didn't have a turnip date for this. I might just see if I can fish one up for the end of the show while we're doing it. Anyway,
You
right, yes.
should.
Because we thought it would be good to talk about Halloween and get an episode out in a timely fashion, close to Halloween.
Hmm.
Because we touched on it a little bit. And like I think I've mentioned to Beth a little bit how different it is. Like, because it's such a bigger thing, I think, in the US than it is over here. And I really wish I'd taken a photo of them, but you probably can. But like, even whenever I was there visiting Beth 2 weeks ago, there was like so many yards were like filled, sorry, rather, with Halloween decorations. There's this like really kind of ripped
There's like a 8 foot
werewolf.
werewolf.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he
That's
he's
like
he got serious
he's
guns.
yeah. And he's like got his like, I don't know, Pacific Northwest, like red and black checkered
He
shirt.
does.
And yeah,
It's so good.
like maybe he was a lumberjack. I don't know.
And you do see some people like I've seen some like
There's
gardens with.
there's one
Hmm.
in the same yard, and I don't like we didn't look very closely. The skeleton is like probably 10 feet tall,
Yes,
and then he's holding two little baby skeletons upside down.
I didn't notice
And I'm
that.
like, that's kind of fucked up.
It is kind of fucked up. I love
I
it.
know, I know.
Uh,
Anyways,
yeah, it's just. I mean,
he
like,
works for the sheriff's department.
fair enough. Oh God. So don't ask him where he got those skeletons from.
I'm sure not gonna.
No. Um, and I think, and I love that. And again, you definitely do see some. I think, for kids and stuff like that, some people's, gardens have a little bit of decoration here and there. I like things, but it's much rarer here. And like every time you do see something, like it just really catches your eye. Like, whoa, what did I see there? Because like there's just like this random solicitor's office in the town center of where I live that just has a spider near one of the top windows and like nothing else. That's really kind of tickled me. But yeah,
This is the one Halloween decoration that we have. No,
yeah,
like
this is it.
people like even more have come out. Like everyone's got like we put our decorations out and it's like all of ours are really annoying skeletons that make sounds.
Oh yeah.
Yep. But like our next door neighbors, like I don't even know. People are spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on decorations.
I would believe it. I would
And
absolutely
then
believe it.
like on trick-or-treating night, people will like get their like outdoor fireplaces and put them in the driveway and they'll sit out there with cocktails and like bags of candy
Yeah.
and you walk up to them and so it's like it's not even well, it's also California and it's lovely.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's like the whole everyone comes out of their houses, the pumpkins are all lit, everything's kind of aglow, there's candy, everyone's high on candy and it's
Yeah.
just this really interesting experience. I wish you could be here
I,
for
I
it.
I would, and I've talked about this. I would love to do a US Halloween at some point, and I think I would. I've talked to my friend because, like, my
Mhm.
friend who lives in New Jersey, like he hates New York, but he begrudgingly admits that New York is fucking awesome for Halloween. I'm like, oh God, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think
And
I'm
like the
gonna,
parties happen like all month long.
yeah.
Like it's a thing. And
I
like California, people really dress up. They go
Yeah,
all out.
like I think I might have talked to you about it before. Actually, you know what? Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves here. So I wanted to just kind of, yeah, I think, no, I guess we're not, because I think we're just talking literally about like the difference between Halloween in there and here. I think I've talked to you a bit about this before. It's not really as big a deal in this country, and like trick-or-treating doesn't really happen even where I live, and there are some young kids in the area. Like I have had small like wee kind of things of candy most years, or chocolate, as people will get angry at me for calling it candy, at home. But like it's been so rare that anybody's come around over the past.
Really?
Yeah, it just doesn't really happen. And even as kids, we didn't really do it. I remember like one guy I know who was like a bit of a chancer who like just made us go around trick or treat to see if you could get money off people, basically, and like that was it. So people would just
What
give because they weren't.
what's a
Oh, a
chancer?
chancer. What's a chancer? How would I explain that? So somebody who is like a dodgy individual, somebody who like what's another word for chancer?
Like the Artful Dodger from like
Yes.
Oliver?
Chancer,
Okay.
yes, it's a very good example of that. Yeah. So
Okay.
like just somebody who like, always like who will like go the or not go the extra mile, but like
How
always
can
have
I? Yeah.
schemes to like
Yep.
get shit off people or grift people or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, but like yeah, so it just wasn't a thing. I mean, I remember us having like the way that you can get like proper fireworks, but you can also get like shitty sort of fireworks that are like you weren't allowed proper fireworks. We would go to fireworks displays sometimes, but we would get sparklers, we'd get these shitty fireworks things, and we'd set out the back. Um, the only like really my favorite bit about it was my mom would always make toffee and like toffee apples or like caramel
Hmm.
apples as you would call
Hmm.
them,
Yep.
and that was my favorite bit about it. But beyond that, there wasn't really that much to it all too
It's
often.
like it's so big here.
I
It's
know.
so big. And it's like we like when we're out trick-or-treating with the kids, I will say like if I didn't have kids, oh no, we used to do like we would have Halloween parties,
Yep.
pre-kids. We would go downtown and just like th or fly somewhere to go to a party. Like
That's
came down to
yeah.
San Diego, like the Gaslamp area
Oh,
that
I
you and
bet
I
it
were
was
walking around it
awesome.
with. It was so fun. It's so fun. And like, you know, it's kind of a joke that like, when you're an adult and you don't have kids, it's like they call it like slutty girl holiday basically,
Yeah.
like, because you're like, I'm Alice in Wonderland, but I'm slutty or whatever, which like it's some people think that it's like an excuse for women to dress in lingerie.
Yes.
I say women can dress however they want, whenever they want, whatever.
Exactly.
And
I,
that doesn't mean anything about their character, but
I
having been there,
yeah, because it's like the joke is that it's just sexy something, sexy
yeah,
whatever, sexy.
yeah.
But I've seen some fun like comedians that I follow doing like fun things like with that where this female improviser did a sexy Ted Lasso costume that was quite good. So yeah,
Uh,
but yeah,
just dress like Ted Lasso.
yeah, basically, I but with the cleavage, basically, you know. Um, but like
Believe.
exactly, yeah. But like I really appreciate how like, and we can, and we have talked about this before. We talked about this in one of our most recent episodes where, things become super commercialized, but there's something so joyful about that Halloween experience.
I would
Yeah,
agree with that. And you know me, like I'm a curmudgeon about, you know, the commercialization of anything
yeah,
ever. Um, but I really dig Halloween.
it
I
rules.
used to make my own costumes. I was Scarlett O'Hara one year and I like
Nice.
made that shit from scratch. I didn't have the actual hoop, but like I made the dress and everything. And like I still dress up every year.
Yeah,
It's usually, last year was Jack Sparrow.
nice. Yes, did I
It
see a
was
picture of that? I think
I
I
think I
did.
sent you. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I was like I looked like I won an award.
I love it.
I'm an award winner at
Oh,
Halloween. Andy.
and that was so. This is a good time because that was something I was going to ask, which was let's run off some of the our favorite costumes that we've done over the years. So you've given me your Scarlett O'Hara and your okay. So one of my favorite ones was I dressed up as Ash, so unsurprisingly from the Evil Dead one year.
That's how did you do the chainsaw hand?
So basically, my friend, so this was at a time when I was going to art college Halloween parties, and they were always fantastic because they're the only like ones where people really made an effort, and some of the costumes were fucking incredible. Like my friend like made a transformer out of boxes that he could actually crouch down into, and he turned into a car. Like it was just ludicrous. And so that I had one of my artist friends help me, and he we basically made a chainsaw that and like put a hole in the back, and I could slot my hand into it. Then, because I'm such a fucking nerd, whenever I took that off, I had a glove that I spray painted gray to like as my replacement chainmail hand. So
Yes.
like I had the whole thing. I had like belts like as my straps. I had a shotgun on my back. But like the thing about it was that nobody knew who I was. Like, and it was a good costume. It was just that nobody had really like so few people had seen Army of Darkness or Evil Dead. They had like they were like, "Oh, you Texas Chainsaw Massacre," and I'm like, "No, what part of this costume, apart from the chainsaw, obviously gives or is giving you Texas Chainsaw Massacre?" Um, but I really one of my absolute favorites. I still think I have the chainsaw somewhere up there up in my attic. But yeah, that was one of my faves.
Yeah,
Do you?
I remember dressing Charlie as Elvis when he was 3 months old. So I have this picture of him like, this little like larva
I love it.
Elvis. Um, I think I've told you about his costume. It's the best costume I've ever seen ever. So he got drywall stilts, and then he has
Oh,
this wildebeest skull that he mounted on football pads, and like I don't and then like put like red lights in the eyes
yes.
and like had a voice changing box. So he was like, I don't know, probably like 10 feet tall and had horn hands, and like it was freaky.
Yeah.
It was freaky. So like he had that for 4 years, and we would go to these like various costume contests trying to win, and he never won because some lady was always like, I told Andy this before, but like just kind of like, oh, airbrush paint, and I look like a sexy cyber robot,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
like my ass is hot. And,
Yeah.
like he couldn't actually get on stage with drywall stilts kind of thing. But yeah, so I have a really good picture of him actually in San Diego, and it's like me and Mike in his stilts. I don't even know what I was. I
I
was like a white fairy or something,
yeah.
and like he was like the evil Lord of Darkness, and I was like the antithesis of
Yeah.
that. And then like it's us and the sheriffs taking a photo. They're like, yeah,
Shit, I don't because you told me about this, but I don't think I've seen it. I'll have to get you to send me a photo of it. That sounds
yeah,
amazing.
it's a good one. But like, I also And I told my theater teacher this, so she knows, so I don't feel as guilty about it. But I was in Hamlet my
Hmm.
freshman year of high school. And so I have this like princess courtier dress like that's totally period. And
Hmm.
I loved that being in that place so much that I think it was like my junior or senior year. I like snuck into the theater costume room and I took it.
Wow.
I stole a thing.
Whoa,
I did.
shit.
But I wear it. I like, but it's like it still fits.
Yeah.
The quality's great. Thank you, Bobby Brewer Wallen, for making that costume. Thank you, Gabrielle, for not being mad and turning me into Westland High School for stealing it. But I'm gonna wear that this year because it's just so great.
Just
It's so
right.
great.
I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
just right. And like it fit when I was like postpartum, pregnant. It fits me now. It fit me when I was,
That rocks.
16. I know. It's a very forgiving costume. So
That's
I'm gonna be a period princess this year.
absolutely a keeper in that case.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so another favorite one of mine, because I was just digging through thinking about these things, and the one that sprung to mind was I went as like John McClane one year. Right. Now, that might seem relatively lazy, but will you hear about all the dumb shit I did? Right. So it was like, and this is a problem. Halloween in this country is cold. It's cold as fucking shit. So I was
Yeah.
like in a vest. And I also went barefoot, right? Because I'm an idiot. I I cut out a plastic bottle and stuck pieces of those to my feet to replicate the glass in his feet, right? I sellotaped a toy gun with Christmas tape to my back, and I had a bag, a duffel bag with blocks covered in yellow paper that said C4 on them. So like completely ridiculous, like way more than I needed to go for this. Like the barefoot thing was ludicrous. Like I don't know why I did that. But yeah, so that was another favorite of mine.
That's a really good one. And I've told you this many times, but when I knew what it was, I don't know what point, for some reason we were talking about Halloween costumes, and it might have been over like WhatsApp, and we didn't know each other very well.
Hmm.
And you were like, "Oh yeah, like, you know, Sasha and I are going to be you
Oh
were
yeah,
going to be
Quint.
it was start
It was
no, it
Quint.
was yeah, you were going to be you were like, I'm doing Star Trek this year, but like my
Oh
favorite
yeah.
one was Quint and Jaws. And like this is like that character is like one of the quintessential characters. Sorry, I
Oh,
had to
hell
say it.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, everyone. But like one of the best characters in any film ever
Yeah, agreed.
because he's basically just like playing himself.
Yeah,
Um, anyways, and I think that story that he tells is true,
it
and he
is.
actually was in the Battle of whatever that I can't remember with all the sharks eating people in the water. Everyone, sharks are friendly. We love
Yes,
sharks.
yes.
But that like blew my fucking mind. And that Sasha, your dog was Jaws and you were Quint. And I was like, so then I was like, what other photos? Like, I need to know more about all of your Halloween ideas. Don
I
McClane, that's pretty good.
I remember I'm trying to figure out what it was. Oh yes, yeah, because he was like uh um yeah, he was only 51 when he or 50 or 51 when he made that movie, which is
Oh
like
my gosh.
not that much older than me, and he looks like an old ass guy. It's
Yeah. No,
alarming.
it's like learning like how old the Golden Girls were when they were filming
Yes.
and they were in their
Oh
like
yeah.
mid 40s,
Horrifying.
which is us.
I know, it's so true. Um no, that was a good one. And I have tried to do like in a couple of costumes I've done with Sasha in recent years. Like I did us both in Star Trek outfits. I did
With
I
her
dressed
tiny
up,
phaser.
yes, with her tiny phaser. I dressed up as Rick and I dressed her up as Morty one year, which I really loved. That was only a few years ago. Um but yeah, I very much enjoyed doing that. Like, she's not crazy about like loads of people. Like, she's not crazy about parties and things like that. So I don't like to put her through it anymore. But I sometimes dress her up, and I probably will dress her up for the schools for like Halloween and stuff like that again. You know,
Hmm.
'cause people just love it, to just lose their
Like,
minds,
do
whatever.
your friends have Halloween parties?
Yeah. So like, this is something I wanted to talk to you about because I really wanted to do something this year, and I was like. One of these, there was something that was in the works that kind of fell apart about a month and a half ago, and I was kind of bummed out about it. Um, but another friend then invited me while I was over with you to a party, Friday of next week. But I'm struggling to think of a costume, so I'm gonna run some ideas by you and see what you
Okay.
think. So, like,
Okay.
I've had a few, and none of them are super working for me. So, like, I have a Um, it's basically a hat that is like a teddy bear wolf's head. So
Hmm.
you can put it on you, and like I was kind of going to build that as a centerpiece of like a kind of like tribal chieftain costume, and like put blood down my face, and like think that the juxtaposition of the blood down my face and this dumb cartoon wolf in my head would be quite funny, but it feels a wee bit amorphous. I don't think the concept's solid enough to be super interesting. Um, I had considered doing a like half-ass Clint Eastwood with my new hat and poncho that I got, but my
Uh-huh.
hat and poncho are both far, far too colorful, I think, to really make it work.
It would have to be
It'd have to be a black hat and it
mm,
would have to be a dark
like a
poncho.
dark brown
Yeah.
poncho.
So I think that's a non-starter too. I was thinking, because I've never properly done it, of doing Kirk again, just like, wearing my Kirk sweater, black. I've kind of got some good black trousers for it, and then just boots of some kind. but I'm not sure about that either. And then, and I think this is the one I'm going to, it's going to end up with me having to buy some stuff, but I'm really leaning towards going as Ken, from like Ken and Barbie, and like getting like a Dayglow leotard type
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
And it's in the right sort of wheelhouse for me in that people will know what it is, but also it's distant enough in people's memory that like a lot of people will do it this year.
I
So that's
think, yeah, that was definitely a last year thing.
Yeah. So that's why I think it's in that perfect wheelhouse where it's definitely not cool or a good idea anymore. But I
Yeah.
will still find it deeply amusing.
I have a dream that like I would be what's the character's name? I can't remember. Anyways, like, do you remember Animal House
Yeah.
where they have the toga party?
Yeah.
That's but
Yeah.
like one of the
Okay.
guys, he's actually wearing like a toga, but also it's like a picnic, it's like a picnic
Yes.
blanket.
Yeah.
So that would be
That's a good
another easy
idea.
one, and you could just
Yeah.
go full John Belushi.
That's very tempting.
Toga, toga.
Yeah. So yeah.
I would say either Ken or
I think the can's a winner. It's going to mean that I have to
yeah,
buy stuff, but like honestly, I'm okay with that.
yeah. It's not something you'd like. You could reuse it and recycle it for other
Yeah,
things.
100%. Yeah, like a Dayglow like leotard is exactly my
Yeah,
wheelhouse,
totally, totally.
So yeah. So yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't do. And do you have any other sort of
I have
like?
so many questions.
Okay,
So, have you ever said Bloody Mary in the mirror?
no,
Really? Is that a thing?
one, it's not a thing over here because
Okay.
like I think our idea of what that like we more saw our lens for that sort of thing was through movies like Candyman, which was like, do you know
Oh,
what
I
I mean?
remember Candyman.
Candyman was like a kind of a spin on that concept, isn't it?
Yeah, with like bees, which I don't
Yeah.
understand. I remember watching that uh when I was in high school, I think.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I don't remember what the origins for Bloody Mary is, but it's kind of like Candyman or Beetlejuice, where if you
Yes.
say Bloody Mary in the mirror 3 times, then she'll like appear and, you know, scare you and or kill you.
I think we have like I have heard of the name before, and I was aware it was somewhat similar to like Candyman, Beetlejuice, that sort of
Yep.
thing. But
Yep. It's been
that's as
around like
much.
for a long time.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, have you like as a kid, did you ever play light as a feather, stiff as a board? It's
No.
weird. It's weird and it totally works. So like one kid or person would like lay on the floor, and then you'd want to have, probably like at least six other kids, and you would each you get two fingers from each hand, and you
Hmm.
would place them underneath the person, and that person's supposed to be like as stiff as a board. Like you don't want to be like, loosey goosey or
Uh-huh.
whatever. And then all these children are like, we did this at like sleepovers. You start chanting light as a feather, stiff as a board, light as a feather, stiff as a board. And you're doing this for like probably like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. And then you slowly start to like lift the person up and it fucking happens. It's like they levitate. It's the weirdest thing.
I it's not something we do, but I've definitely seen it like
Yeah.
in I guess probably in media of some kind, like TV shows or
Hmm.
something like that. That's interesting.
I did it several times and
I
and like I've been the board too. And it's just
How
like the weirdest,
interesting.
creepiest feeling. Yeah.
Because like I guess it was one of those things when I had seen it, I was just like, well, is I didn't know if it was a real thing or whether it was supposed to be like a, supernatural. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I want
So
to try
like,
that.
do you guys have like scary things that you like? All Hallows Eve here is like when the one night where the dead rise from the graves, and the whole point of, and I don't know if this came from Ireland or not, probably did, damn it. But basically people would dress in Halloween outfits so that the dead wouldn't recognize you and would leave you alone.
There probably is like kind of the problem. I mean, like it's also possibly my ignorance as well, but like
That's fine.
is
No, I
that
mean, we know nothing, and that's okay.
Exactly. But like, I know there are Halloween traditions, but like a lot of that stuff is typically like associated with superstitions and like I guess that was the sort of thing that whenever like the imperialist landowners came into these countries, they try to stamp that shit out. And I think
Yeah.
that you know, by and large, as a generalization, people in the UK are quite serious and quite sort of like literal minded, So like a lot of that stuff isn't quashed, but like has been like tamped down in a fairly major way, which sucks, I think. Um, so like I think there are definitely aspects to it, and certainly within our like Irish traditions and things like that, there's definitely like a part of it. Like I know that like I went to um the start of the summer festival in May, and actually going to a sort of like autumn yoga type celebration for coming into the winter months. So
Hmm.
I'll kind of report back when I've done that. I'm keen to kind of learn more, but it's definitely there, but I think it has become diminished, certainly in my life.
Yeah. I think there's been like a resurgence for that kind of thing of like uh solstice and you know religion kind of killed a lot of things.
It sort of did. It really did. It's like this is the only one.
Yeah.
This is the only set of
Forget that.
myths that you're
Yeah.
allowed. You're not
Yeah.
allowed any others.
No, I was trying to explain, this is off topic, but I was trying to explain uh Easter
Hmm.
and the resurrection and all of that to Harper, and she was like, "Well, what does that have to do with bunnies
Yeah,
and eggs?" And I was like, "Well, that's like the pagan, fertility, welcome of spring,
yeah,
and that's different thing. I probably just ruined Easter, and she doesn't probably believe in the Easter bunny anymore, but that has nothing to do with Halloween.
yeah.
So, favorite Halloween movies?
That's a good question. So like I for a long time wasn't a big horror fan, so I didn't really like
I'm super into horror.
yes, I know that you are. And I kind of regretted I have started connecting back into them as time has went on. I don't know which ones I guess would be. I suppose like Scream, I guess, is a Halloween movie, right? And it
Mm.
kind of coincided, especially the first one, with me starting to give horror movies a chance again. So it's pretty meaningful for me to me. And I still think that that first Scream movie's pretty friggin' good.
It
I can't
is.
really remember what the rest of them were like, but I thought,
No.
but like I certainly missed out on, Nightmare on Elm Street. I missed out on
Halloween.
Halloween, of course, naturally, and so on, Friday the 13th and things like that, which I know
Mhm.
were all really kind of important ones.
I think those are kind of like the ones that they make now are just like, I don't know, less scary and more gross.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Poltergeist, The Omen, Nightmare on Elm Street, like all of those kind of like 80s, 70s, 80s
Hmm.
ones were really, really terrifying. I think really any scary movie I kind of attribute to being like a Halloween movie.
Yes, and I was
So
thinking that there, what qualifies something as being Halloween compared to just a horror movie? But yeah,
yeah. And like the kids are into it right now. They wanted to watch the new Haunted Mansion
okay. Hmm.
the other night, and like we watched it and I'm like, this is really good.
Was it
Like
good?
it's
Okay,
just
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So have you ever smashed a pumpkin?
No,
I haven't either. I think I tried and it like didn't break and I was like,
that's an intro. No, I mean, like, and I have since learned that there are definitely more pumpkins here than I initially thought, but as I say, and certainly I would say in the past 5, 10 years, and it's only because we had talked about it and we talked about turnips that I've noticed that there's a lot more pumpkins in like supermarkets and things like that. And there has been when I thought about it, there has been over the past 5, 10 years, I think, but they're puny compared to the pumpkins that we saw in that pumpkin patch in California.
Yeah. We like we pay by the pound.
Yeah,
They're so big.
thought it
It's not
really
like you
were.
buy one and it's like, yeah, yeah. Um, so this is the most important question.
Yep.
Would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
Oof. Probably a werewolf.
Why?
I think I just like their vibe more. Like, I think I think I have a problem with vampires. I think they're like oversaturated, right? Both, like the especially sexy vampires with like both Twilight and Interview the Vampire and all this sort of thing.
Yes.
So like I think, and to me, it's like the whole sort of, mods versus rockers thing. Like, mods are very well put together, fancy lads, like vampires, and um werewolves are more like dirty lowlifes, and I feel like I feel more connection to those dirty lowlifes. Does that make sense?
It totally does.
Okay.
I rewatched Blade.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
So good with Chris Christopherson. I'm like, I forgot he was in
He's
this.
so good.
It's so good.
I fucking love playing. It's so
I
good.
do too. I like rewatching it. I was like, this is so fucking good. Um, I don't know. I think I would rather be a vampire.
Yeah. I I think it is, probably the more appealing option. Like, definitely. I think it's because there's something like, I mean, like they're both kind of gross in their own way, but like the werewolf is like way grosser and way more rough, I think, but
Yeah.
yeah.
For me, it's like The Lost Boys, the movie The Lost Boys.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
I have.
It's that like I don't know.
I
I
hear you.
like I love that movie.
It's a good
I don't
one.
think the kids are ready for it yet, but I'm
No,
gonna
not yet.
make
No.
watch it tonight. It's actually one of Mike's dad's favorite movies
Oh,
ever.
really?
Yeah,
What an amazing choice. I love it.
yeah, I know. So yeah, those are my questions about
It's
Halloween.
great. Um, I
Be
think,
the rad sicko that you want to see in the world.
yeah, that's a good Halloween message. Um, so I think I just like to finish things off by talking about the Gilfeather Turnip Festival is this Saturday
Where is that
in
happening?
Wardsboro, which is in New England. So it's
Oh,
in Vermont. So folks,
ha!
if you're in Vermont in New England, get yourself down to Gilfeather for their Turnip Festival, and that's the Turnip
Actually, I've a
update. Turnip update,
friend
god
who
damn it.
that's a good one. I have a friend who lives in Vermont and I'm gonna tell her to go.
Please
So,
say.
okay, real quick.
Yeah.
They sell pumpkins at the grocery store. Are they
Yeah.
selling turnips in the
You
grocery store for
know,
Halloween?
their turnips are always in sale, but they are not. See, like front of store, it's pumpkins these days, whereas it used to be
Huh.
turnips. I in
Huh.
my memory when I was younger. So yeah,
Okay.
about face. But I think,
I think just buy a turnip and like set it outside your front door.
like,
You don't even
consider,
need to carve it.
yeah, like considering what kids, from cartoons and everything, like they kind of like absorb these days. I can imagine as a child, if you're like, oh great, we get to carve something for Halloween, and like a fucking turnip gets set in front of you, you'd be like, what is this shit? Give me a give me a pumpkin. So yeah, I
Yeah.
understand.
They're just they're easier.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
easier. And it's been commercialized, so you can get like a pumpkin carving set
Yes.
that makes it
I
like,
I saw them whenever we were
yeah,
in, yeah,
yeah.
mad.
And I'm
Love
like, I don't subscribe. I get it at the Sawzall.
it. Because like
Not really, but yeah.
when we were at the patch, Harper was like standing beside me when she saw it. She goes, "Ooh, do we need one of these?" I'm like, I probably not. It's like maybe.
No, they're not dangerous enough. It's like,
It's
no,
true.
honey, we use the butcher knives.
Actual knives. I love it.
Yes. Uh,
Great.
all right.
Okay, so time to ask our favorite question as always. Beth, what's been bringing you joy this week?
I think you're going to be excited to hear me say that I
Ooh.
finally finished Slow Horses.
Ooh, did you enjoy it?
I really love it. I
Yeah, it's good
just love the
so.
show.
So yeah, I.
Yeah. And like was it you that told me that they film multiple seasons at
Yeah,
the
they
same
filmed two
time?
back to back. They have done at least for some of those seasons, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so
that's why, like,
the guy
sorry,
that plays the the quiet weirdo that is always has this hoodie on. I can't remember his
Yes.
name.
Hmm.
Like the last episode, I don't I'm probably gonna spoil some things for people. I'm sorry. If you don't want a slow horse spoiler, don't listen. But like when he's telling the lady like he would want you to love and be loved, and then
Yeah.
just like grabs a gun and shoots the guy anyway. And I was like, oh, so good. And now
It's
I'm seeing him in everything. Like we're rewatching Game of Thrones. He's in that. He was in The Crown.
interesting.
He played the weirdo who like was the guy that snuck into the queen's bedroom that night. And like,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
yeah, so he's all over the place.
He did look a
He's
bit
all over
familiar
the
to me, but
place.
I couldn't place him. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's like every man.
Yeah.
So,
Love it. That's great.
what about you? So
So,
it's joy, but it's also sad that it's
but
over.
bittersweet.
Right.
I have finally started watching Twin Peaks, and
Okay.
I oh, there's a dog barking at me. I think she should be all right. So like, I'll give her a few
Okay.
minutes. And
I can't hear it.
it was just one singular bark, so it's the hopefully it's not. It's probably just a person outside. Um,
Okay.
but so I finally started watching Twin Peaks. Really loving it. If somebody had told me years ago how fucking goofy that show is, I would have been in there way quicker. And it's like such a fucking cornball goof show. I
Yes.
Two things. I knew I was totally on board for it when in episode one, there was a setup. Basically, there was a light, these lights malfunctioning, and they were going on and off in this room, and they were like, "Ah, it's a generator problem." And then the same thing happened later on when they were having this big get together of all the people in the town, and you saw Agent Cooper look up towards the light, and then he just looks forward and he goes, "Who's that lady with a log?" And the sheriff goes, "Oh, that's log lady." And there was just a lady holding a log, flicking the lights on and off. I'm like, okay, Twin Peaks, you got me. I'm all. Uh, that I loved. Also, the other thing that I noted, which I really loved, was there is a character in it called Andy who cries all the time, and I'm like, it's nice to see myself represented on screen. So yeah, so I'm all in for Twin Peaks, everybody. I am fine. I'm so glad.
Who's that lady with the log? Oh, that's log lady.
It's so good.
Someone wrote that down. I looked down.
I know,
And then they rehearsed it.
I love that
Yeah.
that's the case. So good.
It's I had forgotten like the campiness of it
Yeah.
and like the yeah, uh, like his like overacting as a detective and like
But
yeah,
even
it's
that, like whenever like the bad kids are in, in a scene like and the really kind of overwrought music, it's just brilliant. Like, and I mean, I am sure I'm preaching to the choir to those of you who have watched
yes.
Twin Peaks, but
Yes.
I I really love hearing somebody enjoying or like discovering something that I love. Do you know what I mean? And hearing their discovery of it. So you can live vicariously through me. But it's fantastic so far, and I'm excited to watch more of it. So yeah, I'll keep you all updated in my Twin Peaks journey.
I'm gonna be eating cherry pie and drinking coffee like the
Oh,
rest of them.
the best
Well,
goddamn cup
you
of coffee.
actually what did you get the cherry pie when you were here in
I
Julian?
no, I no what no, I had the apple and cherry pie, which was
Apple
fantastic.
cherry pie.
I
Mhm.
regret nothing. That was incredible pie.
Okay. All right. Well,
So
that
yeah,
was your Twin Peaks moment.
that was
Did
my
I
Twin
tell you
Peaks one.
I'm drinking coffee again?
Oh, nice. How's that going?
It's like I'm putting a little protein shake in it so it
Okay.
doesn't like cut my stomach. And
Hmm.
you know what? That is the key to me doing yoga in the morning.
Interesting.
It's coffee.
Okay.
It's just that it's
That jolt.
that's it.
Yeah, I hear
So
you.
I've been doing yoga like every day
Love
for
it.
like
Okay,
2 weeks.
fantastic. Great.
I know.
Okay.
Haha.
Solved it.
Huzzah.
Good work.
Thanks.
I love it. Do you want to tell the people where they can find
Yes, you can
us?
find us at bendypodcast.com
Hmm.
and buy yourself a Rad Sicko shirt, y'all.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be wearing one immediately. I'm gonna be the first customer. But
So
like
I'll be
that's
designing that this afternoon and getting that loaded.
perfect. So everybody just remember, be the rad sicko you want to see in the world. Okay. Good stuff. Right.
And we're not trademarking that because we stole that from someone.
Yeah, like I looked, I did a search for it, and I couldn't even find the original thread. So I'm like, it's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's just, give them
Was it on
credit.
Reddit?
Yeah, it wasn't Reddit. Yeah,
Find us, guy.
yeah, yeah. Do we'll give you 1% of
Yeah, right.
merch. But yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, right, folks. Then, as always, we'd like to remind you to stay.
Stay
And
trendy.
nice.
Spooky. All
Ooh, very
right.
spooky. Right.
Love you
Love
guys.
you. Bye bye bye.
Bye. Bye bye. That was good.
Nice. Was.